Hey everybody, and hey George. You remember the time we spoke about an Arch Linux tutorial? Well, here it is. I have to mention a few things about it. On the one hand, it's not a tutorial for beginners. You should know something about Linux. And on the other hand, I used a very simple setup. My computer has still a BIOS in it, and I used a wired LAN connection for the internet, and I did it in VirtualBox to record everything. And well, I think that it's it. We could start. What do you think?
So this is what you should see after booting up Arch from your live USB stick or CD. And now we are able to begin with our installation. The first thing I always do is to load the German keyboard layout with load keys minus Latin 1. And the next step is really important to check out the internet connectivity. Google, yes, that works. And now we can start. The internet connection is really important because during the installation Arch just downloads everything needed from the repositories, and that's why we need an internet connection. And now the basic installation just consists out of 3 parts. Basically the preparation of the hard drive, which you can do however you want with, I don't know, another distribution you're running, or simply now with any command you like parted or fdisk. If you want to use an GTP partition, I think it's called, I recommend you gdisk, but I'm using fdisk for this. And now we can start. By pressing the command M, fdisk displays everything it can. And the command we need is the N, add a new partition. So I just type in N. I want to create a primary partition. The partition number, I don't care. The default sector is okay, and now with plus 2G I just add 2 GB of space for this partition, and now this partition is created. Well, not yet, but it's stored within fdisk for the creation. That will be my swap partition, and I create one partition for swap, which I have already done. I create a partition for my system, which will be about 15 gigabytes, as you can see here. And then, because I need some space for my data, I just add a third partition for my home directory. Yeah, I don't care about the size of it because it's just on VirtualBox, so it doesn't. Yes, I don't need a big partition. And now I write everything down with W. Sorry, German. And it's done. Now I need to create some file systems in the partitions I've created. First of all, the swap with mkswap on dev sdh1. Now I just need to turn the swap on. Swap on dev sda1. And usually for myself I use the btrfs file system. But I think in a normal installation you would use ext4, so we just use it. -L. The -L option gives you the ability to label your partition, which will be very nice later if you're using Nautilus or Dolphin, I think is the KDE version. And then these labels are displayed, which makes it very easy to find out which partition is displayed. And I name it system, and that will be def SDA2. And the second one for -L home def SDA3. So that's it. The preparation is done. Our partitions are created. They are written with file systems, and the next step is to mount those partitions we've created. And therefore we need this command. We mount these partitions at the MNT mount point, and I need to create another mount point for my home partition, which I also mount. And that's it. Everything is done. The next step is just the basic installation of the system with the command pacstrap -I mount base. Now pacstrap only does download everything needed and just installs it where we've mounted our partitions in the mount directory. Here you can just simply accept everything the system says. And now we have to wait. By the way, I want to excuse myself for every pause I make during my speech, because as I already mentioned, I'm German and English isn't my mother tongue, so I have to think what I'm saying. And because I'm not used to speak English, it's a bit difficult for me. But I think that should just work. Sorry. Yes, and now we are waiting. As you can see, there are only 109 packages that need to be installed. This installation is pretty small. It's really just the basic system, and after that we are theoretically already done. We only need to configure our system for the initial boot up, and that's it. So the installation of Arch is basically pretty easy, and if you have any difficulties during the installation, you really should look your problem up at the Arch wiki, and I can only recommend you the beginner's guide in the Arch wiki. It's really simple to do so. I think every problem or every step is explained. Yes, is explained. So you just need to read through it and you should get a running system. And I don't really do every step of it because I want to show a simple installation with only the steps I usually do myself, by myself, to set my system up. And yes, so I leave out some comments and sections which I don't need. I think we're almost done. Package 81 out of 109. and that's it. Now I have to generate an F step, and that's just done automatically by this comment, etc fstep, and done. As you can see, that's pretty easy with all the comments and script Arch offers you. And the next step is to root into our new system to configure it, and that is done like this, and we're in our new system. The first step I always do is I install Vim, because I really like that text editor. It's installed. You install something in Arch with the command pacman, which is the package manager. The package manager of Arch. I think it's called like this. Oh, sorry. With the -s option, and then the name of the package you want to install. And now we need to localize our system. First of all, the language, and here I open the local point gen file. I uncomment the language I would like to use, like the German one, and just for purposes the American US English. So now everything's done. The only step left is to generate the locales, and the generation is complete. I know I type in most of the comments pretty fast, but as I said, you should just read out through the beginner's guide, where everything is explained, and you can find each comment I type in this guide. And of course you can use any text editor you want for the task, and I use Vim, so you will see every time Vim. And the next step is to set some variables of Bash, I think it is. But okay, let's just continue. This is furthermore for the localization of the system, and this needs to be done. Of course, you should just use the English language or any language types you like, and that's it. No, I just need to fill in the vconsole.conf, which just loads me for the first which just loads the key map every time, so I don't need to load it by myself, which is very helpful. And the next thing we need to configure is our time zone. This is done by just a simple symbolic link to our time zone at user share zone info Europe Berlin to etc local time. And the next step would be to name our system. I just name it test because host name. So that's it. And now we need some packages for the installation of the network and wireless connectivity, and that's done with pacman -iwwpa supplicant dialog, and I just add here net -tools and wireless tools, which offer me some extra comments like ewa-config or ew-config or if-config, which can be very helpful to set up the internet connection after the first boot up of our system, as long as we don't have installed any desktop environment like GNOME or KDE. And I think that's it. We now only need to create some we only need to create an initial RAM disk environment with mkinit CPU -p Linux, and everything is done by the system. So, and we are ready to go further. And the next step is to set a root password with passwd. I just had a usual password I'm using, nothing special. And as you can see, since I've configured the uconsole.conf, my system is now in German and talking to me like Passwort erfolgreich geändert, which is for me very nice, but for you guys I think not so great, but I think we can handle this. We are ready to move on to the next step, and this is an optional step for everyone who just wants to use Arch in a dual board or triple boot system, because if you're running any other distribution like Ubuntu, Fedora, I don't know, you may not want to install a new bootloader because you maybe just want to use the bootloader of, for example, Ubuntu to boot up Arch. So this is really an optional step, and here I'm using SysLinux. And first of all I need to install SysLinux with pacman -s SysLinux. Yes, I want to download it and install it. Usually I'm using grub, but since I'm doing this installation in a virtual box, I had some difficulties with grub, and SysLinux just works. So this is pretty nice in a virtual box environment with Arch. And now we have to configure our bootloader or install it into the MBR with this command -i -a -m, and done. Just take a look at the configuration of SysLinux config, and here we have to search for the append line. Here, append root, and this entry needs to show to the root file system where our kernel is. And because I installed my system at the second partition I created, I changed the partition to SDA2, and now I just leave the configuration file, and that's it, we are done. Now we can leave our system we can unmount the partitions and reboot into our new OS. So after the reboot, we want to boot our existing OS, and that's it. This is SysLinux. I chose the first entry, and our system is booting. And as you can see, it doesn't take much time to boot up the system because it's really a minimum install. Minimum? I don't know. And now we can log in with root, the password we've created, and we're in. I have to mention that we don't have any internet connection by now, as you can see. But that's not very hard to set up with the new commands iwconfig, which is part of NetTools or Wireless Tools. I don't know, but now you understand why I've installed those packages in the past. And here we see our wired connection ENP0S3. Now we only need to set it up with DHCPCD like that, and it's done. Now we have an internet connection. As you can see, Google is responding, and that's it. Our system is up, it's running, we have an internet connection, and now we can install anything we want, like any desktop environment like GNOME or KDE or I don't know, what you like. Thanks for watching.
That's it. Your system is running. We're finished. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I know it's really bad, and but I keep my promise. And well, for further configuration of your system, you should really look up the Arch Wiki. It's really simple to install GNOME or KDE or something like that if you just keep reading the tutorial in the Arch Wiki. And well, I only think I have to say happy holidays, weekends, oder in German einfach fröhliche Weihnachten. Bye.